All right, so what I'd like us to do for the remainder of the time, because I know we've had maybe too many things to think about. So I'm just gonna walk you guys through like Jira and through just like the expectation of what we need to be doing, and especially as we look to interviews, and not just interviews, as we look to work, you being hired. So one of the things that you'll face in the interviews, so the first thing is they will ask you to introduce yourself, tell them who you are, tell them a little bit about your background, what you've been doing. But then there's the question that can be asked, like, tell me about your day, like how do you spend your day? So spending our day as DevOps engineer. So the first thing is we need to know the tools that we use, the tools that are at our disposal. So the first thing is communication. How do we communicate? So the first thing when you start your day, you'll always look at either your email, or you will come and look at at Slack, right? You come and look at Slack. Maybe I can just share that too. So you come and look at Slack. Share. Let me share the right screen. Right. So that is your Slack. So this is what we use for communication and messaging. And the reason why you're looking here is because there could be a message. Maybe your boss send you a message at night. Maybe there's a system that failed. And also, not only that, we can do integration between our Slack and our application so that we get notification on Slack. So you might have your DevOps channel. That is the channel that maybe all of us are part of the team. That's where all our notifications go to. Maybe you're working on a project and something happened at the night. So the first thing, all the developers are habit of just checking your messages or your emails, the emails and messages, because that is where communication happens. If your boss wants to get to you, or maybe they have a ticket assigned to you, or they have something that needs to be done at the first thing in the morning, maybe because of a meeting or something. So you need to make sure that you're checking your messages, right? So you will say, we use Slack for our communication. We use Slack where we communicate between teams. That is our messaging platform. Okay. Now, apart from that, once you looked at Slack, then you also need to look at Jira. Okay. You need to look at Jira. Jira, we use Jira for ticketing and what we call bug tracking, right? We use Jira for ticketing. So why is it important to look at Jira? It is because there could be some incidences. If you have some critical incidences may happen overnight. And what happens is that those incidents will create an alarm that will create a ticket, like a pager duty, depending on the severity level. It might create a ticket. Now, when you create a ticket for high priority, it just means that ticket needs to be attended to immediately, because maybe your systems are failing. Okay? So once you check the email messages, then we are looking at Jira. We are looking at Jira, which is our ticketing infra. And the reason why we are looking at to see if there is anything that is of high priority that we need to attend to, or if there is anything that has been assigned to you. Okay? Something could have been assigned to you on that particular Jira. So you want to look at it just to make sure that nothing has been left, or you are aware of what is going to go on. And then after that, as customary, you will have what we call stand-up meetings. Stand-up meetings. They're called stand-up meetings because they'll be about 15, 20 minutes, whereby you meet together with your team. And all that you're talking about is what you did yesterday, right? What you were doing yesterday and what you're doing today. And if there is anything that is blocking you from doing your work. So for example, you can say, yesterday I was working on Dev 5, right? I was working on this ticket, Dev 5, but right now the ticket is in blocked because I need A, B, C, and D. So that's what you're saying. And if there's anything you need to call out, or you need to ask somebody to pair up with you, or you want somebody to review your ticket, that's where you're calling it out during your stand-up meeting. So we'll say, I've been working on this ticket, but I think I need help from so and so, or such and such a thing is happening, and therefore my ticket is blocked. And when you're saying that, your ticket literally needs to be blocked, right? It needs to be in the block category. But otherwise, after the stand-up meeting, after we've finished expressing ourselves, this is what we're doing. If there is nothing, we're looking at the board and we're picking up ticket, right? We're taking ticket and working on. So all this happens because we work in what we call an agile environment. You work in an agile environment, and the framework that we use is what we call Scrum. And I'm going to show you guys. We use Scrum methodology, whereby Scrum basically means that we are working in what we call sprints. A sprint is 10 working days. We can say we have 10 working days. So we can start our sprint Like right now, we have 1 day remaining to complete our sprint. Since we started our sprint. So 10 working days, then that particular sprint will complete, right? Now, when we are doing sprints, there are a number of meetings that we will be part of. We will be part of planning meetings. We have to plan for our next sprint. We will do what we call retrospect meeting, where we are giving feedback. We are looking at the past sprint, how the work went, what we were involved in, what lessons did we learn. Okay? And once we talk about that in that particular meeting, we are planning for our sprint. Now, I'm just going to show you. Now, this is our Jira board. Okay, so we can start by creating a brand new project. Let's assume that this is brand new, right? We can create a brand new project, and you have templates that you can choose from. Now, let's say we're in software development. So we want to do software development. Now, what methodology we want to use, right? What plan of software development? So the two most common ones are either Kanban or Scrum. Now, Scrum uses what we call a sprint. A sprint, we have a set amount of time, which we say we have 10 working days. We need to accomplish this amount of work, or we want to develop this number of features, right? Once the 10 working days are done or the sprint is completed, then we do it. We close that sprint and we start another sprint again. But Kanban, it is used for ongoing projects, whereby if you have an ongoing project like 5 months, 6 months, whereby you will always just have work pulled into the continuously pulling work into your everyday cycle, then that is Kanban. But sprint, we have a set amount of work that we plan for, and we say within these 2 weeks we need to accomplish this. At the end of it, we close the sprint. Any work that hasn't been done is pushed to the next sprint. So we will, because we work in an agile environment, we will use the Scrum methodology. Once we use the Scrum methodology, we have what we call issue types. When you're using Scrum, you can create different issue types. What you've been creating are what we call stories. These are tickets that we've been creating. But you can create what we call an epic. An epic is just a story that is big enough that you can't do it, you can't complete it in a day, you can't complete it in a couple of hours. So if it's something that will span, piece of work that is going to span like 3 days, 4 days, that is big enough to be able to be broken down into smaller tickets. So that will be an epic. So you will create an epic. Then from the epic, you'll do what? You will create stories. You will create smaller tickets that can be done in an hour, 2 hours. Then once all these tickets have been completed, then your epic is completed. Okay? So you will have these issue types as part of your Scrum methodology. Then the workflow, but according to the template, it has to do, in progress, and done. So we can choose to use that template. Now, once you choose to use that template, now you can choose what project type. We have 2 types of project. You have either a team managed project or a company managed project. For a team managed project, this one is a project that will be maintained by your team. If you select company managed project, then everybody in the company will be able to see your work. So in most cases, we will create team managed projects because we are part of a smaller team. So we want to manage our own project. We don't want an entire company, organization of 500 people to be able to be part of the work that we're doing. So we'll select a team managed project, then we'll give it a name, right? So a name, we can say this is can somebody give me a name? Any name?
FinTech 5.
You say FinTech?
5.
So FinTech?
5, yeah.
FinTech 5. All right. So all our tickets will have this fin, right? All our tickets will have this fin. Access level, you want it to be private, only admins and people you add to the project and search for and view, or anyone with access to that site can search and view, comment on this project issues, only people you add to the project, or it's open. Anyone with access to Jira can search, view, and create and edit this project issue. So like for now, let me leave it open, okay? So the type is a team, we're using this graph. Then next. So it is going now to create our project. Okay? It is creating our project. Once it creates our project, now it has created our dashboard. This is now our project board. So this is what we call our Jira board. Now we have the to-do, we have in progress, and we have done. But you can add other columns here. So let's add one column, and let's call it review. Let's call it review. Right? Once we add the review column, let's add another column which is called blocked. So we can add a blocked column right there. So we want our blocked to be, we want our blocked to be right here. We want our blocked to be right here. Review, then done. So this is the progress of our work, how we want our work to be. Okay. So to do in progress, if anything is blocked, we put it here. If we get it into review, it's going to be here, then we want it done. So once we've done that, then now this becomes our project board. Okay, so you can invite your team members to be part of this project. And then after that, you now start creating tickets. How do we create tickets? You can either use the word create right here, but once you create a ticket, it is going to open for you in that particular project. What are we creating? We are creating, let's say, a story, right? A story. Now the summary of the ticket, we can say we want to create backend VPC, right? So that's something I want to create a backend for our VPC. Now you can give what you're looking for. So create an S3 bucket to use backends. Okay. Naming convention should be something blah blah. The region should be okay. Then I can put what we call an AC. This is the acceptance criteria. So for me to accept this ticket, I'll need to have an S3 bucket. Created in US is 1. Right? AMS encryption, something like that. So once everything is done, this is what the acceptance criteria. Now, if I want to create another issue, I can select that so that it will just open another issue. But otherwise, now that is the reporter. Then the story points. The story points, as we said, this is how much time we anticipate that this ticket is going to take. So I can have 2 story points. I can create that particular ticket. Now, once I create the ticket, it goes into what you call the backlog. It goes into the backlog. So if you go to the backlog, you'll have 1 ticket. Okay. Now I can create other issues here. I can go to the backlog directly and create another issue. And I can say, what do I need? I need to create a VPC. Right? Need to create a VPC. Enter. Then I need to create an EC2 instance. And then create IDS database. Right. So I can create all these tickets. Now these tickets are in my backlog. Now, when we meet for sprint planning meeting, we want to plan for our next sprint that is coming up. So we will go ahead and look at the tickets that are in our backlog. Okay. So create VPC. We'll open that ticket and we will start looking at it. For this ticket, it is just create VPC. We can put more flesh on it. We can say the VPC. Now, this is during our planning meeting. The VPC, we put more details on the tickets. VPC created and all created to use S3 bucket as backend. Okay. We can say Terraform code created Terraform module push to repo that module versions same convention. Right. So we are putting more details on this, and now we are asking questions. Right. We are asking questions whether we actually understand what this description means. Why? Because when this ticket is assigned to you, then you need to know what you are asked to do. Okay. So during planning meeting, that's when we are, as a team, we are creating all these. We are putting flesh onto the tickets, and we are doing what we are basically trying to ask any questions that we have. So VPC module deployed. Yeah. So I can do something like that. Then we can say how much time do we think this is going to take for us if this ticket was given to you? How much time? So we will look at the story point estimate. So we'll try to estimate how much time. We can say this one will take 3. So once we enter that 3, then we can save it. So once we save it, now we see these are our story point. So if we have 30 tickets, right now we are at 5. So we are trying to estimate on a regular sprint, maybe we always cover like 30 story points or 40 story points. But during this sprint, we are going to be few because one of us is going to be on leave on PTO. So now what do we do? Because of that, what do we do? We are going to, instead of taking 30 issues, we are going to maybe only take 25 story points. So we prioritize what issues we are going to pull in. Now, once we prioritize them like that, then now we can say we want to move these issues in our sprint, the upcoming sprint. So we have that issue, and now we have this issue. We want to move it in this sprint. Okay, we want to move it in this sprint. So once we've moved these issues here, we look at others. So like this one, I can just put story points on it. I can say this is maybe 3. Okay, this is maybe 3. Then I can that is 3. Okay, that is 3. And maybe this issue is linked to this, because I can't create the VPC without this backend. So when I open this issue, I can say parent, right? Or I can say it is linked to, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so I can add more fields, description, timestamp, people, due date. So the story, IP task for story. I have the reporter, story point estimate, sprint, parent, labels, assignee, status. Okay, looks like it. So I can go back here. You can go back here and go back to my backlog and go back to my backlog. So once I go to my backlog, these are actions on. Once I go back to my backlog right here, then what do I do? After we've closed our previous sprint, and now we want to start our sprint. So we can start our sprint, okay? Because these are the 2 issues in our sprint and I need to do. So right now in our board, nothing is on our board because we haven't started our sprint. So when we want to start our sprint, we are going to hit start our sprint. Now, once you start our sprint, you define it. The sprint name, you can give it any name. So we can say this is awesome. Our sprint is called awesome. Duration is 2 weeks. Start date, it is starting right now. End date, so after 2 weeks. Sprint goal, you can put a goal. Then once you hit start, so the sprint has started. So we've started a sprint, and now we have 9 days remaining. So with that, we have this issue, 2 issues that are in the to-do column. So now for these issues, because they're in the to-do column, so when you are now at work, what you will do is that they will either assign you a ticket, maybe your manager, depending on the company, your manager might assign you a ticket, or you can assign yourself a ticket if like work is slow and you have tickets that are just there. So just make sure that you are active, you're looking at these tickets. So once you go there, once you click it, it will open up, or double click it, it is going to open up, and you're basically able to see the description of that particular ticket. Now I can assign to myself right there. The sprint is awesome. That is a sprint, that's story point, right? That is a reporter. Now, if you have any comment on the ticket, then you can add your comments. For example, if you don't know what something means, or you want some information, so I can say when I use that, I'm notifying somebody, right? I want to notify somebody. So I can say, for example, at Moses, are you able to forward the info about this ticket? Because maybe Moses attended a meeting whereby there were some requirements, but those requirements were not captured on this ticket. So Moses can respond on that. But also, if you have any links, like links, you can attach links. You can attach links to this, right? You can attach links to this. But also, this link, I can link it because this link, it is blocked by, or it is going to block what issue? It is going to block creation of this VPC. So what I've done is that I've linked this issue. So this backend will block this, right? It will block this. So basically, I need to create this backend first before this VPC can be created. So because these links are the tickets are tied together. So one will block the other. Okay. So now I've linked both of them like that. Okay. I've linked them like that. So I can put my comments and all that. But once I'm ready to do, because this is the first thing, then you have to move it in progress. So as long as your name is on the ticket, as long as you've been assigned, or your name is on the ticket, then you are responsible to move that ticket across the board. Okay. And once a ticket has been assigned to somebody, don't go back in and reassign it, right? Don't go back in and reassign, like go and change that. because what that means is whoever was assigned and the ticket is in progress, they're already working on it. Okay, so they have already spent time on it. So I'm just saying that what we've been doing right now has been for demo, but at work. So don't go and reassign, because you'll be duplicating work. You'll be doing the same thing that someone else has done. So once it has been assigned, if you don't have a ticket, then go to the to-do column and assign yourself a ticket. Or if the protocol is your manager or your supervisor assigns you a ticket, then just wait and they will assign you a ticket. But once you start working on it, make sure that it's in progress and keep watch of the story points. If in the organization story points 2 means half a day, then it just means that work needs to be done within that time, because they're always you're always trying to close the sprint to make sure all the work is done. Right? So speed, it's an agile environment. Speed is going to be key. So make sure that you are up to speed with that. Now, if an issue has been blocked, make sure you put it in block and also give the reason why. Right? Go to the ticket and add a comment. Right? Add a comment. Need more info. I'll say need more info from Moses, who is on PTO, or out of office, right? Who is on PTO or out of office. So you can say that, then you're going to save that, so that now when an issue is in block, at least people know why it is there, because you've left a comment on it, right? Once you get the information and now you're ready to resume, it will go back to in progress. As long as you're working on it, that issue needs to be in progress, because you're still putting time to it. Once you're done working in it, move it to review. This is when you put it in review, if it's code that you're writing, you're pushing it to GitHub and you're doing a pull request. You're asking for review. You're asking somebody to review your work. So it will be on review. So during stand-up meetings, we are reporting. I have pin 1 in review. I'm waiting for Moses or Marie to take a look at it, to review it, and then I'll merge it. So once they review it and they approve it, once you merge, then you mark it as done. Okay, you put it in the done column, and that is crossed off. Now, when a ticket is done, it means it has been closed. They have accounted for that time. So when a ticket is closed, don't come back and move it back to review. Okay, don't come up, because this time has already been accounted for. That ticket is done. Okay, it is done. It's closed. If something else needs to be done to this bucket, maybe there was a versioning that was supposed to be done, and you realize that versioning wasn't included in this ticket, then go and create a ticket, because we are tracking type. So go and create another ticket. Don't move this one back. Create another ticket, and don't do any work without a ticket. Okay? Protect yourself. So go and create another ticket, and just say enable versioning on the S3 bucket. Right? I can do that. I can create that particular ticket. Once I create it, it's in the backlog. I can move it to this sprint, because maybe we need to do it quickly. So I can go back to my board and I will see that ticket here. I'll give it a story point, or maybe 1. I can do it that way. But also I can link this issue. I can just say it relates to maybe the ticket that it relates to the VPC, because that ticket was already closed. So if it's closed, you can't really link it, but it basically relates to that. So I can link so that there is always a correlation. If someone is working on this ticket and they want to see what this ticket say, they can find it. I can assign it to somebody. Somebody can be assigned to this particular ticket. Assign it to Evelyn. If she's part of this, I can assign that to her. Once her name is on, it's now in the to-do. So now it is her responsibility to do it, to put it in progress and move it across the board. Right. So we will do that until the sprint completes. Once the sprint completes, again, you can look at your work assigned to you. You can always look at your work, whatever has been assigned to you. Or if you go into backlog, you can go to the backlog. Then you can look at your work, what has been completed. When you select your name, you can look at how many points you've been able to close during that sprint by just selecting your name, how many tickets you've been able to do, right? So they will always be able to look at, if I look at Evelyn, she has 1 in to do. So your boss can always look at how much work you've been doing, how much points you've closed for that particular sprint. Okay. So generally, this is as basic as it gets. This is all you need to know about Jira, working with Jira, unless you're a Jira admin, adding people and all that. But otherwise, bottom line is just know how to create a ticket. You can either do it here or you can do it in the backlog. If you see anything, maybe you're working in AWS and you see anything, or you might be working on something and you find that maybe there's an issue, always go to Jira and create a ticket. Once you create a ticket, let the ticket be in the backlog, right? Maybe you're working on some configuration issues, but you encountered an issue, just create a ticket. Create a ticket, put it in the backlog. Or if you want someone to attend to it quickly, for example, the project that we've been doing, that's what we've been doing. You can create an issue, put it in the backlog, or once we start our sprint, it will going to appear on the board. We can assign, if you want somebody specific to look at it, assign it to somebody. Okay? Assign it to somebody, otherwise anybody, because this is the first thing we look at after our messages, we look at our Jira board. So somebody can assign themselves on that and handle that and work it throughout the board. Okay? So don't do any work without a ticket. So let's practice that habit. Let's be in that habit of just creating tickets. If you have access to Jira and you have anything that needs to be done, instead of you just posting it on Slack, I want us to be in the habit of, so this is how we will do it at work. So instead of you just posting a message on Slack and saying, oh, can so and so help me? Can you help me with A, B, C, and D? Or who has done this? Just go to Jira and raise a ticket. Okay? Create the ticket. Put the description. If you have any links or images or pictures, put them on the ticket. Then somebody can look at it. If I'm looking at it, I'll put it in progress. Then I'll contact you, or somebody will contact you and be able to help. Okay. You guys have any questions?
That was really, really helpful. Thank you so much.
Prof, I'm sorry. Did you say if we encounter some blocks, we need to take pictures and post them here in Jira?
Yes. So you can link images. You can create a ticket. Let me go to the other. You're not just posting them in Jira, but you can attach, right? You can attach. What is this? I can attach an image.
Okay, makes more sense. Thank you.
So you can attach an image if you want. If your description is not sufficient, you can take a snapshot and attach an image. All I want is you guys to be comfortable when you get to work. You are already comfortable working with this environment, because this is mostly what companies use. It is most popular. There is ServiceNow, but Jira is most popular. So if you're conversant with this, conversant with working with tickets, creating tickets, moving tickets around the board, being able to link issues, being able to add applications, being able to add a web link. If you are giving somebody instruction on how to, let's say, how to create this ticket is to do it, enable versioning on S3 bucket. So I can do how to enable versioning on S3 bucket, right? S3 bucket, enabling versioning buckets. So I can just link that. I can either just copy it like that, and I can go and I can just add it. Right? So I'm adding that link right there, so that whoever is doing this ticket, they can just go to the link, right? They can just open the link, and it is going to give them all the instructions they need to know, right? So that's how when we are doing all these tickets, like during our planning meetings, these are the things that we are looking at. You want to give as much information so that whoever is doing the ticket will spend as little time as possible to do their work, especially if you are the reporter. If you created the ticket, you have more context. You know why you created the ticket. You know what the need is. You have more context of it, and therefore you are able to give more information. Right? Okay, so let's call it a night. I will send some, maybe just 1 or 2 exercises. It will be very, very basic. I'll just create a ticket. I'll post it in our regular channel for you guys to be able to do it. Right? But if you have anything that you need help with, again, you can utilize this or Slack. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. So you guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Meet on Monday. I'll probably send you guys one video over the weekend for what is left on AWS, because I want us to start on Terraform. We are about 2 days behind schedule, but we have about 4 days to catch up. But I want us to start on Terraform. But I'm going to send you guys a video on what is left on AWS. And again, this is like the important things that you just need to know. But we will touch on many other services when we are working with Terraform.